Bonneville versus Enfield 650s.
What's up, everyone? It's Alex. Back to answering viewer questions again. Here we go. And I am going to try like hell not to butcher your name. If I do, I'm sorry. Fight me later. Today's question comes from Rishab. Hope I said that right. If I didn't, I'm so sorry. Rishab says, I would want to buy this bike when I have enough money, but was curious to know if you can clear out my difference between this bike and the Bonneville T100 just in terms of their performance. And that was in reference to a Royal Enfield 650, either a GT or an Interceptor Royal Enfield 650. So, real quick, we're going to cover Triumph Bonnevilles versus Royal Enfield 650s in general, okay? Triumph Bonnevilles come in several different flavors. I am much more familiar with the Bonneville 900 twin series of motorcycles. They've made some more changes recently, but I'm going to be coming from the standpoint of a Bonneville 900 twin, because I think if you're looking at Triumph Bonnevilles versus Royal Enfield 650s, you would be talking about the 650 twin probably versus a 900 twin. That's a much more fair comparison to make, okay? Let me start out with saying I am a massive fan of Triumph and the Triumph Bonneville series especially. I grew up in the motorcycle world at a Triumph dealer, selling Triumphs, riding Triumphs, working on Triumphs, and enjoying Triumphs. So even though I have a Royal Enfield 650, I am a massive Triumph fanboy, and I am a massive fan of the Triumph Bonneville series, especially stuff like the Bonneville 900 Black, the T100s, the Scramblers, and the Thruxton. I love 900 Thruxtons. So that being said, what you're dealing with Triumph is, in that vein, you are dealing with a classic styled, all of them, 900-ish cc parallel twin cylinder motorcycle, a lot like the 650 Enfields. The engine design and the layout, firing order and everything, very similar between the two. Now in the Triumphs, you can get your standard Bonnevilles. Your Bonneville Black was the cheapest one to get for the 900s for a long time. The T100 is the deluxe version of a Bonneville. The Scrambler is what it sounds like. It's a classic Scrambler style with high pipes and everything. Thruxton, of course, is the Cafe Racer creme de la creme if you like cafe style bikes. Royal Enfield 650s, they're a 650-ish cc parallel twin. Very similar engine design, very similar firing order and everything. They took a lot of cues from the Triumph Bonneville when they were designing and doing this for the whole throwback series. Very similar motorcycles, especially if you're looking like Royal Enfield Interceptor to T100. Your seating position is going to be very similar. Your overall weight is very similar. It's going to differ a little bit, but when you're riding them and everything, the 650 Interceptor and a 900 Bonneville T100, it's going to be very similar. You're probably not going to notice a massive difference in that. I will go ahead and say the Triumph is going to have more power. You're a 900 twin versus a 650 twin. The Triumph, pure and simple, will have more power, will have more performance. The Triumph also, I think, is going to have a little bit better fit and finish. That's kind of been one of Triumph's big points and one of their key points of pride over the years is Triumph puts out very nice fit and finish on all of their motorcycles. I mean, I have not seen an ugly Triumph yet, except possibly some of the 900 triples and 955 triples, but we're not going to get into that. Since then, I have not seen an ugly Triumph that I can think of, okay? Beauty's in the eye of the beholder, but that I can think of. So your Triumphs, your T100, any of your Bonneville Series Triumphs, they are going to put out more power. They're going to have a little bit nicer fit and finish, I think. You know, objectively speaking, they're going to have a little bit nicer fit and finish. For the most part, especially if you get a Thruxton or something like that, they're going to handle very similar. I've ridden plenty of Triumphs. I've ridden plenty of Thruxtons, Scramblers, and Bonnevilles of all shapes and sizes. To me, they handle very similar. In these two styles of bikes, I don't think you're going to notice a big handling difference. If you get into something like a Thruxton R or something crazy, yes, you're going to get different suspension and everything. Obviously, that's going to make a difference. But we're talking apples to apples here. We're talking regular 900 Triumphs to just 650 Enfields. So I don't think you're going to notice a big handling difference between the two bikes. So overall, I would say just pound for pound, performance-wise, the Triumph T100 Bonneville that you're talking about is going to marginally outperform the 650 Royal Enfield. Now, when I ride them both, is there a little bit of a power difference? Yes. With the style of riding that I use for these two bikes, do I really notice or use it that much? No. These 650 Enfields put out plenty enough power for what they are and for the style of riding that they are designed for, that the reason I bought an Enfield instead of the Triumph is this. The Triumph puts out more power, has better performance objectively, period. But I think for the money that you save, and we're talking new to new, for the money you save between a new 650 Enfield and a brand new Triumph Bonneville, I think you're getting way more bang for your buck right now with the 650 Enfields. Back in the day when I sold Triumph, they were selling them much more reasonably. You could get a brand new Triumph Bonneville for $6,000, $7,000 back then. So then, that was an amazing motorcycle for the money. At the time where you start talking about a brand new Triumph Bonneville being $10,000 plus versus you can get one of these things for $5,500 or less brand new, now you start talking about, okay, is the extra fit and finish and the little bit extra horsepower and everything, is it worth the extra $4,000 or $5,000 that you're going to spend on a Bonneville versus a 650 Royal Enfield? For me, the answer to that question was no. Would I love to have a Thruxton or a T100 or a Scrambler in addition to my Royal Enfield to add to the stable? Absolutely. If I find a really good deal on one used, I might do that at some point. But for right now, I get all my riding kicks that I want out of that classic styling and everything with the 650 Royal Enfield. I love Triumph. I am in love with Triumph Bonnevilles. One of my best buddies in the world has a Thruxton. I love his motorcycle. I love Triumph Bonnevilles. But I think that they've gotten maybe a little bit too big for their britches, as you would say, and they're charging a little bit too much for that versus some of the stuff you can get in that classic category outside of Triumph maybe. And that's, I think they need to probably scale that back just a little bit. If you got to figure out something where you can get those Bonnevilles back a little bit cheaper to be a little bit more competitive, then I probably would suggest that. But for right now, for the little bit of extra performance you get out of a Triumph Bonneville, if you can get a 650 Royal Enfield for several $1,000s less, I think it's kind of a no-brainer to give this a shot. If you give it a shot, you don't like it, you can always sell this and get you a Bonneville or whatever. But that's just my 2 cents. Keep in mind, I love Triumph. I'm not saying I don't like Triumph. I love Triumph. I just think that for the price difference, you're getting more bang for your buck with a 650 Royal Enfield of either flavor at this time. I hope that helps. I hope that answered the question. If it didn't, ask again. We'll keep on doing this song and dance. I'll answer as many times as you want to, as many different ways you want to. You guys in the comments, if you have any comments, concerns, questions, or you want to disagree with me, or you want to provide other advice, throw them in the comments below. That's what they're there for, okay? I'm Alex. Peace.